Grand Cross in Astrology Explained, TheAstroKing. Grand Cross. A Grand Cross is one of the most dynamic and challenging chart patterns in Western astrology. It forms when four planets create four square aspects and two oppositions, producing a cross-shaped geometric pattern within the birth chart. Unlike a grand trine, which emphasizes harmony, or a yod, which encourages continual adjustment, a grand cross creates ongoing tension that motivates growth, perseverance, and remarkable resilience. Although demanding, this pattern often becomes a powerful source of achievement and personal transformation. What is a grand cross? A grand cross is a chart pattern formed by four planets positioned approximately 90 degrees apart, creating four square aspects and two oppositions. Together, these aspects form a large cross within the birth chart. Because squares and oppositions are considered dynamic aspects, the planets continually challenge one another, encouraging action, balance, problem solving, and long-term personal development. Why a grand cross matters. A grand cross often becomes one of the strongest motivating influences within a natal chart. Individuals with this pattern frequently encounter situations that require persistence, adaptability, responsibility, and determination. Although the pattern introduces challenges, it also develops resilience, emotional strength, leadership, and the ability to overcome obstacles that might discourage others. How astrologers identify a grand cross. Astrologers examine planetary aspects to determine whether four planets form two oppositions, connected by four square aspects. The planets should occupy four different areas of the zodiac that create the distinctive, cross-shaped configuration. The meaning of a grand cross depends on the planets involved, the zodiac signs they occupy, the houses they influence, and any additional aspects connected to the pattern. The four parts of a grand cross. Every grand cross contains four important components that work together to create its powerful energy. Two oppositions represent opposing needs, perspectives, or life experiences that continually seek balance. Hollow square four squares create motivation, pressure, determination, and opportunities for personal growth. Four planets. Each planet contributes its own symbolism, making the interpretation highly individual. Overall balance. The pattern encourages learning to balance multiple priorities rather than focusing on only one area of life. Strengths and challenges of a grand cross. A grand cross often develops exceptional perseverance, resilience, discipline, and problem-solving ability. Because the pattern continually presents situations requiring balance and effort, individuals frequently become highly capable of handling responsibility and overcoming adversity. At the same time, the constant tension represented by the squares and oppositions may create periods of stress, frustration, or feeling pulled in multiple directions. Learning patience, flexibility, and effective decision-making allows the grand cross to become one of the greatest sources of personal strength. Interpreting a grand cross in a birth chart. Professional astrologers interpret a grand cross by examining the four participating planets, the two oppositions, the square aspects, the zodiac signs, the houses involved, and any additional planetary connections. Each component contributes to the overall meaning of the pattern. The chart ruler, dominant planet, elemental balance, modalities, and planetary dignities further shape how the Grand Cross expresses itself. These factors reveal which life areas require the greatest effort and where the individual has the greatest opportunity for long-term growth. Does a Grand Cross mean constant struggle? No. A Grand Cross does not predict a difficult or unhappy life. Instead, it indicates that important life lessons are often learned through experience, persistence, and balancing competing priorities. Many successful people possess this pattern because it encourages determination and resilience. Rather than viewing the Grand Cross as negative, modern astrologers see it as a powerful engine for achievement that transforms challenges into wisdom, confidence, and personal mastery. Grand Cross versus other chart patterns. A Grand Cross contains more dynamic tension than a T-square because 4 planets participate, instead of 3. Unlike a Grand Trine, which emphasizes harmony, or a Yod, which focuses on continual adjustment, the Grand Cross develops strength through balancing multiple challenges simultaneously. Each chart pattern contributes differently to the natal chart. The Grand Cross is particularly valued for its ability to cultivate resilience, leadership, maturity, and the capacity to succeed despite obstacles. Example: interpreting a Grand Cross. Suppose a birth chart contains the Sun in Aries, Moon in Cancer, Mars in Libra, and Saturn in Capricorn, forming a cardinal Grand Cross. An astrologer breaks this pattern down into 4 key components. 2 oppositions. The Sun opposes Mars while the Moon opposes Saturn, creating competing priorities between independence, relationships, emotions, and responsibility. 4 square aspects. The squares generate continual motivation to solve problems, make decisions, and develop emotional resilience. Cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn emphasize leadership, initiative, ambition, and the desire to create meaningful change. Overall chart pattern. The Grand Cross encourages growth through balancing multiple responsibilities rather than avoiding challenges. Interpretation. This individual may experience frequent situations requiring careful decision-making, leadership, and perseverance. Over time, these experiences build confidence, maturity, and the ability to manage complex responsibilities while remaining focused on long-term goals.